season 1 attracted you so much to the show that you decided to audition for it?
Well, actually, like looking back, it's just funny because I'm the youngest on the show. I
Oh,
don't know if you know,
wow.
producers let
No.
me know I had just turned 21. So we filmed in like April. So I had just turned 21 like months before in November. So they let me know I was the youngest. Actually the show was airing when a lady, what is it called? A recruiter lady just seen me out and she literally told me I was pretty and said, you should audition. I didn't even know the show wasn't even over yet. Like it was still on VH1. So it was before the reunion aired. So she was telling me how Flav didn't find the girl he wanted. Hoops and him didn't work out. They're doing a season 2. I'm not believing her, but then it's a different time. Like we don't know. Reality is just now starting. We don't know if it's true or not. So she gives me a professional business card. It was at a very nice, classy place in Hollywood to audition. So I felt comfortable. I went. She gave me the card, told me when to go. She said, just act like you like Flav. I get there. The guy was pretty cool. He was a white boy. He was cool as fuck. We had fun. He was just asking me all these weird ass questions. And I really didn't even think none of it. I thought, I just did this for fun. Didn't think they was going to call me. Didn't care. Like I owned my own business at the time. I was living in a mansion at the time. So people didn't even realize that they aired on Charm School. So people didn't even I didn't even think of it as like how people now, they will die and do anything to be on reality. Back then, like it literally was like, if they call, they call, whatever. The guy told me they were going to call, but I feel like you hear things like Hollywood says that we're going to call you back. You don't know. I got the call. They just told us they made us talk to a psychologist. People don't get, we had to speak to a psychologist and we had to take STD tests. So every girl has to do that. So, and then you get on the show. So if you don't pass those 2, you're not coming on.
So, and I spoke to Goldie a couple months ago and she said the same thing. But for you guys' season, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I do find it appropriate to stop right here. There became an issue with Beautiful having a cold sore. If you guys had to take STD tests before you guys got in the house, why was it such a topic of discussion on what Beautiful had on her lip and Flav being like disgusted if the prerequisite to being casted was that you had to be STD free?
This is the thing, because you got hating ass bitches like crazy who made that shit up. At the end of the day, like you said, everyone was tested and we all know that. So she was a hating ass bitch and I felt that was evil as fuck. Because that really wasn't right. And I didn't like, her saying that because she doesn't know what that did to that person. Because Beautiful is my girl. Like, we still have each other's numbers to this day. Like she does not like that shit. I didn't like that shit, because it's putting something out there that's not true. You get what I'm saying? Because at the time, remember, people don't know the process we had to go through. So her saying that, they would think, oh, she does. No. And I think it was just, you have people who are intimidated of others. And I feel at the time, Crazy was intimidated of Beautiful because she was very naturally beautiful. She didn't need to do too much. If you notice, she never did too much. So you have some women who are intimidated. And I think that's just what it was. But it was a hateful, thing to do and say. Because like you said, people run with shit like that. They really run with shit like that. Flav was wrong to do that shit too. Like point blank the fuck period. He a funny acting little nigga. I don't fuck with him neither. And he got made some funny ass little motherfucking comments on this bitch, and I don't like that shit.
What Flav said?
I ain't seen him a couple times. He been smiling all in my motherfucking face. So somebody had posted a clip of him saying everybody who was doing shit, and he named Crazy having kids. Bitch, I didn't have my kids a long time ago. You didn't give me props, but that's all good. But don't you ever sit up here and say everybody from your show that's doing shit and not name me, bitch. That's some clout chasing shit. I take care of my fucking kids. I do shit. So how you gonna name a bitch that ain't even doing shit? You know what I'm saying? That took her drawers, I guess, because I didn't take my drawers off. And I guess because I didn't do certain things, and fuck your ass. Maybe that's why you talking, but bitch, don't smile in my motherfucking face. I don't like fake shit like that. You give everybody props. We made that shit. Didn't nobody watch his motherfucking show for him. They watched his show for the bitches, period. They didn't watch the show for him. Shit, only line he got is, what time is it? Fuck out of here. Want to talk about who doing something, bitch? What the fuck you doing? Because he ain't doing a damn thing.
Did he forget? Maybe it slipped his mind. Maybe.
How you gonna forget? And you mentioned in a bitch that just had basically what he did was he said these are the only girls on Flavor Love doing something. And what I'm
Oh.
saying is yes, that's what he said. And he named Crazy, and he said, "Yeah, Crazy. I'm proud of her. She had her kid, and she's married. Bitch, I've been married and had kids. So you see the funny shit. She ain't on no show. She ain't on no show. So what? That's some funny shit. But motherfuckers ain't got to worry about me. I'll never support his ass ever fucking in life. Anybody tell me about him, fuck that nigga. Period. You gonna put respect on my motherfucking name.
Girl,
I raised my kids. Just because he didn't raise his motherfucking kids, I raised my motherfucking kids. Bitch. Let's keep it real.
Yo. I can only imagine your producers when they had to interview you. I can only imagine you had them people dying laughing during your interviews if this is how you were. Because, girl, oh my God. I don't know if I'm able to get through this. This is so funny to me. You mentioned your lifestyle that you had before you joined the show. And I've heard you actually mention this a lot of times about like you wasn't no struggling ass bitch. You wasn't trying to get on TV for all this other stuff. You came from a very comfortable lifestyle. Describe that lifestyle you came from.
Oh, living in the hills, baby. In LA, living in the hills. It actually was Corona, California, which is kind of the outskirts.
Okay.
You know how some people live in the valley, like the Kardashians live in Calabasas. Those are the outskirts. So Corona is the outskirts. We live down the street from Serena Williams and Venus Williams' sister. God bless her soul. That passed years ago. I was actually able to meet. I think it was Serena back then after Flavor Love, and she was like, "Oh yeah, my sister lived." That's how I knew. We had talked about it. She was very nice, and I know also what's that man's name? What's the man's name who played the Joker on Batman?
The one who passed away?
I don't know. No, probably not him. Or did he play the Joker, the big guy, or the Penguin? Who's the big guy who was the A-lister? I forgot
Oh,
his
baby,
name.
I don't be knowing shit like
I forgot his
that.
name, but he lives over there. We lived right across the street from Blink 182.
Okay.
Actually, the guy who's married to Kourtney Kardashian, he was married to another lady. I forgot her name. She was beautiful too. We lived right across the street. We see them all the time at Albertsons. Like, yeah,
Girl,
that's what I
girl,
tell
what your
people.
parents did?
Look, they had businesses. They had businesses.
I live.
Okay.
I live.
And that's why I get in people's asses when they be like, "Oh, she's just ghetto. She's just." I never lived a ghetto life. I'm from LA, but I've never lived a ghetto life. And if I have, it would be ghetto fabulous. Okay.
bitch. I know that's right. Okay. So you touched on earlier how you got involved in the whole audition process. So let's
Mm-hmm.
go back to that day or that time. You audition, you talk to the white man, y'all have a good time, you leave, you had to take I'm pretty sure a psychology test, answer a bunch of questions. Do you see people in the corner? Do you wanna, off yourself, all this other stuff? What you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You're upset. You also had to take an STD test. What were some other things you had to go through during that audition process before you stepped on set to film the show?
That's pretty much it. Once you got to the STD and the psychologist part, you're
Mm-hmm.
actually picked. The only way you
Okay.
wouldn't be picked is if you failed those two. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
you only those the people who got to that step, they want you, but you need to pass that in order for them to, I guess, solidify your spot. So
Mm-hmm.
after that, they give you the date. They tell you who's picking you up from your home or who's flying you out. But since it was taped in Encino, California. So I already was in Cali. So all they have to do is pick me up. Everybody else they flew in. So their experience is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But that's they just tell you like the date, you pass your test. We're picking you up. We're so excited. They do all that. We're so
Mm-hmm.
excited for you to come to the house, meet the girls. They really on some bullshit. Like, oh, we can't believe this. And they just picked me up on that day. They got us whatever we wanted. They'd be like, "What do you want to eat?" I remember they took me to all types of places on the way there. What do you want to eat? Oh, you want that? Okay. We stopped there. We ate. So everything was pretty much cool.
I love that. I love to
Mhm.
hear people enjoying the process. You know, I've heard some scary
I wish
stories.
we could do it again. Like if they could do like Flavor Love was so fun. Like when I say fun, I'm talking all the girls. Fuck that nigga. But all the girls, us having fun together, like and like you said, just the process of meeting girls, like was amazing. Like I don't know how to explain it. For me, I don't know girls.
You're doing an amazing job. You're explaining it beautifully. How long were you guys outside waiting for Flav to arrive that first day of filming?
I don't even remember like that. I don't think it was that long, maybe an hour. But see, in the midst of that, everyone's getting mic'd. So the time's kind of flying because they're trying to get the shot before the sun goes down. So they had to get all the girls from we did go to a hotel. So they had to get all the girls from the hotel. That's the first time we see each other. I remember looking at everybody. I remember looking at Delicious, like, look at these hoes. So I'm looking at I remember she looked at me and we just looking. Nobody was really talking at that moment. Looking, and they were telling us we're gonna mic you. I seen her getting mic, other girls getting mic. You know, we analyzing the bitches and trying to figure out what's about to go down. Once the mics was on, you know, they smiled. Production smiling because they ready for the bullshit. They like, but I don't think they was ready for what happened. I don't think they was ready.
Larissa, you need to be on a podcast. People need to get this on a weekly basis because you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck a flying one or a dying one either. And I love it. Okay.
Ready?
Next on the list, and you kind of touched on him earlier, but we're going to officially sink our teeth in. Flavor Flav himself.
We made your motherfucking show.
Flav really liked you. He wanted you. He wanted you.
Whole ass bitch. He just want to fuck like all these other niggas.
When's the last time you saw Flav?
Let's see. Probably a couple years ago at a event with Flo Rida.
Oh, okay. Did y'all speak?
That's what I'm saying. This is before I found out about what he said. He spoke. Everything was chill. Everything was cool. No, like you see on the show, Bootz, this and that, all of that. So that's why once I heard about this, I'm very upset. Like you talking shit in my eyes, and I don't like that. I don't like nobody in my face that feels that way. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, I was one of the bitches who made your show.
And you feel like he needs to respect you a whole lot more.
Most definitely to put respect on my name. Like anybody, and another thing, I just hate the fact that people feel like when you raise your children, like that's not doing anything. You know, I don't like that. Oh, they're not doing anything, or they don't know what the fuck I do. I don't put my business out there, but they have no clue. But don't ever disrespect me. You know what I'm saying? As a mother, as an educated woman, or whatever it is that I do, you uplift every girl on this show because we made your show. And that's how I feel about it. Like you don't diss anybody, you don't discredit anybody, especially not a bitch like me. Let's keep it real. If I was not on that show, them bitches would have been ran from corner to corner. You wouldn't have most of those moments. You wouldn't. Charm School. I think Charm School was built off of me. Let's keep it real.
What makes you say that? And you know, I wasn't gonna talk about Charm School today, but let's bring it up.
Charm School was built off of me because if you think about it, first off, meshing season 1s with season 2. I think they came up with that idea because of the fact that I was so entertaining. It's like you got the pumpkin, you got all these other girls that thought they was it on season 1. There's all the talks of what's better, season 1, season 2. So let's put them together. When you have outrageous people like Pumpkin's Remembered, that's like one of the tops. I'm one of the tops. You have to put us together. It was meshed because of us. Because remember, it's labeled Flavor of Love Girls Charm School. That's us. And the top girls. So this is like, and I know I'm one of them because I'm one of the stars. Like no one can ever discredit what I did, no matter if I'm on TV now or not. Like every scene, everything that I've said has still been said, you know, to this day. Carlos King quoted some things that I've said. Like we are all iconic in my eyes. I feel like we're all sisters, no matter if I like them or not. I feel like this is like my college days with these girls. I think that we deserve to have like a, I guess they call it a reboot, but kind of like how they do the Housewives, but with us on a trip and then let all the drama unfold.
Because clearly, talking to you today, the shit is still going on.
Oh yeah, I think a couple of girls are cool, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
there's some things that I feel should be recorded, and we should make a pretty coin off of, you know, because at the end of the day, it's still iconic. Let's say that just for argument's sake, somebody did trump our ratings. At the end of the day, we were the first Black show, any show, Black, Asian, whatever, to trump in reality television anybody else in the world. That is an amazing
It
accomplishment.
is. It
And
is.
a lot of people have made comments like, oh, it's not like y'all did something great. Who gives a fuck? We did do something great. We did something great for Black people because we have other races respecting reality and taking our concepts and using them. You know what I'm saying? So I think that people need to put respect on every single one of our names. Every show that has an icon in it, it needs to be the girls like me, New York, and different girls, villains, all of them. They need to be in really doing their research on who's a real villain of reality, who is a real icon of reality television, and picking them and getting them and
You need
moving
to.
forward.
You need to be on the next season of Villains and Traitors.
Hello.
Bitch, girl, you know, no tea, no shade. Girl, no tea, no shade. I honestly do think if people
I'll
did
set it off
see,
in that home.
bitch, you will set it off in that hole. I believe
Because I'm
that.
a real vet. I'm a real villain. I'm a real freaking icon. You hear me? Like it's it. It's me. I feel like I established it. New York most definitely is, but let's keep it real. New York to me is a character. New York, like Tiffany is amazing. She's a very sweet girl.
It's
I
very
love
sweet.
Tiffany. But let's keep it real. It's a Me and New York are two different type of villains. I love New York, but then Bootz coming into the house, I think I take it up notches. New York is a little safe now. You know, when I saw her with Ray J and yelling when Jocelyn then was thrown down, I'm like, girl, you need to be cheering them hoes on, bitch. Beat her ass, bitch. Get her. Like I want to be like, bitch, get her.
I think you know.
But
I think
we are different age range. Remember, I
yeah.
said I'm the youngest of the show, so I got to remember that New York had, you know, she's a little bit older. All the girls are older than me. I think that I can see, you know, she's just in a different phase in her life, and she didn't want the girls fighting. But baby, if it's gonna be villains, it's gonna be something to get cracking.
And I think just from being around New York and talking to her, I think she really views what she does in reality TV as a job. You know, like so it's to her, she's just going from job to job, getting her money, getting her fee because she gonna get it. You know,
As
y'all
she
they gonna pay her rate.
Mhm.
Girl, and I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say it all. But she gonna get her money and she gonna go to the next job. You know what I'm saying? So I think the New York we first saw probably still had a little bit of inkling like I need to maybe, you know, perform or give more. But I definitely think the New York after season one of Flavor of Love was really like a representation of what she thought or felt people would want to see and would get her the next job, if that makes
You
sense.
think so?
That's what I choose just from knowing New York because I like I said I've been around New York. I've talked to her. She is one of the sweetest people, and if you had never seen what she gives on reality TV, you would never know from talking to her one on one that that's how she give it up because she's like so sweet. She be talking about the Lord, and you know, like
Yes.
yeah, like it's like to me it's night and complete day.
I don't think she because I feel like that's a follower. One thing I'll say, I don't look at New York as a follower, meaning like where
Mm-hmm.
she's doing things for television, should I say? I think
Mm-hmm.
she's more so like me. In person, I am who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I show my kids certain things, they can say, "Oh yeah, that's mommy," because mommy would go off. But they know that's with they daddy or somebody I don't like. You know what I'm saying?
Now how did Daddy get in it? Now he said I was somewhere chilling.
That's where they see that. So it's like unless, but if I like you, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio. So we either really like you or we really don't like you. Like there's no middle.
Last name on the roll call sheet I want to ask you about is the production company, which you talked on here and there. So I'm gonna ask you some real fast questions. Did you ever feel mistreated by production?
Never.
I love that.
Never.
Did you ever feel? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, baby.
I was just gonna say I had I guess I don't know if I should talk about that. But because it doesn't have anything to do with it, but the production, they love me. Like, look, he's like, okay, I can say it.
Fuck it.
So I did an interview with Lacy from Rock of Love. She has a podcast, and
Yes.
I guess it ended up in the shade room. I never have intentions of anything like that. Some people feel like it's all scripted, like I made that happen, but it's not. I'm just that bitch. But I guess I just say a lot of shocking things, right? So
I'm completely electrocuted over here. I just want you to know.
So once we got on there, I guess Lacey did an interview right after with the production. I forgot who it was. It was either Mark or Chris. So it's Mark and Chris. So Mark you met and Chris were the two who basically did our show. And they did an interview and Monique told her to take it down because they were agreeing with me. They were saying Bootz ain't lying. She did this, she did that. Monique threatened them. She told them take that shit down. Allegedly, take that shit down. She was hot because Lacey told me. And Lacey said Bootz was
Wait,
right.
is this news?
I think so.
No, I'm saying, like, has this ever been said before? What you saying?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, let me not stop you because I'm like gagged.
I think it happened. I think when it happened, people saw it, but it wasn't said. No, but people kept adding me like, she did this. Monique is hot. Lacey let me know. Look, she wants us to take this down. She's threatening to sue us. She threatening to do this because they were basically saying, reiterating things that I was saying was absolutely true, and I guess she didn't like that. There needs to be a conversation with me and Monique too. But yeah, so I don't know if that was Mark, but it was Mark or Chris, one of them, who did it, who was basically just keeping it real. You know, people don't like when you keep it real, but he was keeping it real. And production, I've never had an issue with. They've always loved me. I loved them. They never crossed me. When people say editing, of course the shows are edited. And when I say editing for a storyline, it's more so like if the story is going towards like when the rappers came to the house. If the story's going more to the biggest thing was crazy not knowing the show, and then Bootz said this, they're gonna cut out everything else. You know, so that's the type of editing I'm talking about. Anything that I've done has been on camera. I will never deny what I've done. So when I see reality shows now, I can't relate to when they say I never said that. Because some people say they'll say something about somebody else and edit it that way. But that's never been done with me. So I've always been treated right. I think the only thing that I had an issue with was them wanting me to do the other show when they gave Real and Chance their show after one season. I didn't like that. You're not going to use me anymore, and that's when I got burnt out of the whole reality shit. I felt like y'all trying to use people and not give them their just dues, and I didn't like it. And that's the only gripe that I had. But they can make it up. Chris and
I
Mark.
know that's right. Yes. Again, I was not going to talk about Charm School, but you just brought up Monique, who you guys have had a long-standing,
and still do.
What would you say to Monique in y'all's conversation if you ever had one?
Why are you expecting things from people that you are not willing to do yourself? You are expecting Oprah and Tyler to apologize to you, and you have not apologized to me publicly. Everything that she is going through is the exact thing that I went through. Everybody felt like Monique was that bitch because that was the year she hosted the BET Awards. So she felt like she was above us because she was hosting the BET Awards, that and this. But see how you treat people like shit? And now you got somebody above you, Oprah and Tyler, and how they doing you. Let's say they are doing you wrong. I don't give a fuck. Because you got to look at what you did to other people that you felt were below you. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So why should anybody feel sorry? And them dumbass people feeling sorry and saying all these things about Black women is fucking stupid. And I will say this, because some people, I've told my cousins and stuff this, you know, another reason why I backed out of it was because when Charm School came out, I didn't appreciate the comment about we're a disgrace to Black people when there's white and Asians on our show. We're not a disgrace to Black women. And a lot of Black women agreed. And that's why I don't fuck with a lot of shit going on. And that's why I left reality too. I felt like they don't appreciate what the fuck we brought. And then next thing you know, these same Black ass women want a reality show. These same Black ass women want to be on Housewives. These same Black ass women want to do certain things that we did, but don't want to acknowledge that that's the same thing. Contradicting themselves and their arguments. So that pisses me off. And they don't stick up for what we built. But then they want to copy what we built, do other reality shows. If it wasn't for our show, we don't know how Black people will maneuver in reality at all. You know, and even now, I will say this: I still don't even think they give New York her just dues. If we keep it real, all these years, a lot of us have not been on the shows we should have been on, including New York. And I'm glad that she's getting what she's getting now. But I still feel like they still skimping. They don't treat, any of us, even her, when she's on these shows. I just don't see them treating her like, we started it, like she started it, like she's the HBIC or whatever, her brand is. I don't see the respect.
I love to hear you speak like that, Larissa. Larissa for president, everybody.
I just don't. I think now, and it's funny because before, New York was doing all these things, everybody was saying Nene, I love Nene. Let me say that. Nene is the biggest, and she's the first this Black woman did it. They forgot about New York. And I tell people that's why
people did for a little second. They forgot about her.
And I tell people, even with me, they will say, "Oh, you're not a star, you're not this." It doesn't matter if a million people said that. I know who I am. I know that I'm a star. I know I'm an icon because I can stand on everything. I don't go off of what people think of me. I know what I built, and I was a big part of building that. I don't care what nobody says. If I wasn't on Charm School, it wouldn't have been shit. If I wasn't on Flavor Love, it wouldn't have been shit. It wouldn't have. It would have been just a couple of followers listening to New York. It would have been the way they wanted it to be, but it was a twist with me.
And now you in the mix with Twixt telling it all, bitch.
Okay.
You need to find out. You need to find out how you can extract your confidence and place it in a bottle and call it Larissa's lotion. Because your confidence that I'm absolutely in awe and full respect of is like out of this fucking world. Now, you can't be press secretary. Like, we don't need you getting up, talking, like getting in front of the cameras on the podium, delivering nothing. No, bitch, you can't do none of that. You could be president, vice president. You cannot be press secretary. No, because no, not at all. Girl, you got the roll call.